All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We'll call it Hump Day for everybody out there. Hey, we all like a good humping on a day. So either way, hey, we got a good baseball slate. We're paying attention to a little bit of baseball we've had during the early slate here. But man, I got my man BJ here. We had you come in, and all of a sudden we had a week off, and now here we're back at it. Not complaining though with the All-Star break, but man, it feels like forever since we've been on here, BJ, but how's it going, my friend?
It's going well. It does feel like a long time. You know, a lot happened, and here we are back. Teams are healthy, rested, and we're ready to bet on some baseball. Let's get after it.
Hell yeah, let's go. So we got Pojen Stoner in here, Sean B, Ben Jizzy. We got Jason Turner, Nate D, Decon, the legend, Juice 15, Michael Pavlik in here. I'm a loser till I win the Millie. I hear you on that one. But hey, excited to break it down here with everybody. But man, like we were saying, BJ, it was like we had the All-Star break, so we get a little bit of break. I know some guys, like when they look at stats, you know, like they'll go back 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever else. Obviously, that was skewed with the All-Star break there in the middle. But yeah, so I've been going back 30 days. Just to try to get a little bit better, because obviously we've only had, a couple series here. But, man, we got, 8 games here tonight. We don't have the doubleheader game of the Cincinnati-Atlanta over on FanDuel. But, yeah, not too much weather that we really got to be concerned about. I think that Cincinnati-Atlanta game's got the weather issues. So don't really have to worry about that. I'm still a little pissed off Chris Sale. That game got fucking PPD'd last night. Man, I was going to just switch over to Gilbert, whatever. And then I thought, fuck it. My team sucked so damn bad last night. It was one of them nights, BJ. You just, fucking throwing the money out the window. You ever seen that gif where the dude's just throwing it out in the window? That's what it was me like last night. But Yankees just sucked it up last night. I was all over. I should have known better. You know what, BJ? I mean, I was sitting there thinking to myself, watching baseball, like, you've watched baseball enough. That dude hitting behind Judge, I should have known they were going to walk Judge at least half the damn times. They walked the ball 4 times. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I played a little busy yesterday, played night slate only. And as soon as I entered the contest and saw percentages, I just shut my phone. Everybody's 40% owned. And I thought to myself, this is why I don't touch these, late game baseball. I think but the Seattle game, it was 80% Gilbert, and then Soriano had like 45%. I'm thinking, why am I wasting my time here? And of course they were the nuts, and it just comes down to 2 cheap little batters. That was the difference. So no, rough little day yesterday, but we're back today. So let's get after it.
I mean, I think we're seeing with Soriano. I think the Mariners are just going to have a target on their back. I mean, damn, man, they especially with the lineup just keep getting more injuries, and that line, they're just striking out a ton. The other team we were chasing, the A's, all of a sudden they learned how to hit. All of a sudden, like they are on a fucking roll. I got them going here this afternoon. I don't even like playing in Oakland, but I thought nobody's going to do it. Man, they literally are just smoking hot. Like, it's baseball. I'm just going to ride it a little bit. I didn't mind dipping my toes in a little bit with the A's. Not something I'd normally want to do, play an offense in Oakland, but I was just like, they're real hot. Just might as well throw in a team here with the A's. So have to see how that ends up playing out here today. Yeah. But yeah, so I gotta tell you guys a little story real quick. I love to tell my story. So BJ, we went to our boy Hoop's 40th birthday party last weekend. His wife threw him a surprise 40th birthday. We're up at the bar, had a good time as the night Trump got shot. So of course everybody had something to talk about. We had a good time. Always a good time. I got to give her a shout out to Hoop's wife. Hoop's got himself a rock star, man. She worked real hard, had a really nice party. He didn't have a damn clue. It was pretty funny seeing his face. I wish I had got a video of it. But, man, a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, though. The wife of mine pulled a move on Hoop. She gives him a birthday card, and she filled it full of glitter, BJ. So when you open it up, glitter stripper freckles, I like to call it, went all over the damn place. So hoops, well, I thought that was pretty funny. But that's a little classic move. You guys want to pull that one out of your hat.
I love it. He's still washing the glitter off, huh?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Just throw some glitter around. It's good entertainment. But Matt, BJ, we got 8 games here. We got to get through, talk a little bit about baseball. Before we do so, I got to give a shout out to our favorite sponsors. Got to keep everybody happy here. But hey, if you're going to get into best ball streets here, make sure you guys get over there and check out our friends at Drafters. If you don't have an account already, shame on you. But if you don't, get over there and use promo code SHIPIT. Get you 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So make sure you guys get over there, check that out. We got the reigning champion from 2 years ago. I guess we can't say reigning, but former champion from 2 years ago took down $250K, Mr. Titletown. So I know he's done a video, give you guys a little bit of help as far as strategy goes, but a lot of fun just getting in there. They go fairly quickly too, so the drafts are pretty quick. Speaking of football, I know the Lions went out today, Super Bowl hopeful Lions here in Detroit. We don't know what that means here. I mean, it's been a long time since the Lions been good, but today, first day of training camp. So a lot of talk about football, but hey, if you want to join us, man, I'll tell you what, now is a great time to get in. You can use promo code NFL50, get you $50 off all the annual packages. So you can use that code, but if you can just get over there to the site, you'll see up at the top, already gets you the discount. Well, let's just take a quick look here at a breakdown. So the SHIPIT Nation NFL package, $299, gets you $50 off, as we said. But listen, I mean, you can compare here. It does have the optimizer, everything else. You can see some of our competitors don't have an optimizer. They charge for the same sports. But hey, it's your money. As you see, as the year goes on, you start adding that up. Man, it looks like you can get yourself an extra $700 or so throughout the year to throw into your contest instead of paying for content. But hey, guess what? The funny thing is, after that, there is more after that. So then you get an early bird bonus. We'll give you free all access for all of our sports up until NFL. And then you're also going to get free college football content for joining SHIPIT Nation throughout the year. I mean, man, you can't beat it. You guys got to come check it out. Got some friends that are interested. Tell them about the deal here, but NFL 50, get you $50 off, but I believe it's just right on the website. You can check it out there as well. So, hey, BJ, I don't know about you. I'm pretty excited about football, but so what, you're out there in San Diego? Was that where you are? So are you
2 hours north? Yeah, 2 hours north. So 2.5 hours south of Vegas. Was a Chargers fan for a long time, but when they left, couldn't do it anymore. So I followed through with Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, and when they were all done, had to kick them to the curb. So, classic joke is, who are you a fan of? Whoever's in my lineups that week. So
absolutely,
that's kind of where I am. So
that's where I go. My daughters, when they start getting older, like, Dad, why were you cheering for that team last week and now you're not cheering for them this week? And I kind of had to explain to her, like, no, it really wasn't the team. I was just cheering for the one guy, That's just the way. But I don't blame you. I figured, hey, maybe you were a Charger fan. I was going to say you got our boy Harbaugh over there. So maybe
I don't know how I feel about that yet. If I was a Chargers guy, they might try to slow it down a little bit with Herbert, which I don't like. So it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see. I see a comment in there. I'm not in Hemet. I'm in a town called Apple Valley. So pretty close to Hemet, but not necessarily there.
Yeah, we'll see how. I'm kind of interested to see. I think Harbaugh actually might open it up a little bit over there with the Chargers. We'll see. I mean, he's smart enough to know to use the weapons he's got. I mean, I think he is going to build up on the line. I mean, I believe he believes in the big beefy boys on both sides of the ball, which I believe is how you win. It might take him a few years or two, but he'll add some beef and some toughness to both sides of the line. That's the way I feel. But hey, either way, like I said, let's get into some baseball. Like I mentioned, we got an early start here today, so make sure you guys check the 6:40 instead of the 7:05. But, man, I tell you what, I'm just looking at some pitching. You look at the high-end pitching. I think the high-end pitching, we've got some pretty big names up here today. You got the Glass now, Cole, Flaherty, Evaldi, Bibby, and then Man, I was looking. We got some Robbie Ray back in our life too. I noticed. So I thought that one was pretty funny. But let's just take a quick peek here at the pitching. I mean, the way I look at it, you got Glass now. I think it's kind of fair to say that with him being injured, he pretty much probably going to be on a pitch count. So his last AAA start at DC had 58 innings or 58 pitches. So I got to believe he's only going to probably be, I mean, maybe 70, 75. The Dodgers are generally pretty, they'll take their pitchers up pretty quick to pull the plug on a pitcher. So I'm a little bit afraid of Glass now. So, but if you play him, I can't blame you. 33% K percentage. If he might still be able to get you there, but you're looking at Garrett Cole, who's been looking really good here recently, his last couple starts. He gets the Mets here. Flaherty, I mean, I think he's the best pitcher on the slate as far as skill set goes, but man, I just don't like playing against going against the Indians. I'm not saying Guardians. What the hell am I saying? Against the Indians. But that 32% K rate, I think he'd be a pretty good pivot. I just don't like attacking them. Evaldi, I think, is going to be pretty chalky here today against the White Sox. Obviously, the White Sox have been just absolutely garbage. We like attacking them. And then you got Bibby here against the Tigers, 27.8% K rate. I think he is in play today. We got a couple guys maybe we could look at in the bottom tier. But what do you think of this top tier here, BJ? What do you got here? How do you rank them and how you break it down?
Perfect. I love how you open that up. Glass now is a no for me. You said 70, 75 pitches. I'm thinking 80 max. And then you look down at, Evaldi, which I'm having cheats on Monday night, for goodness sakes. And that is a tough at bat to watch. So that's kind of the whole lineup for me. I think he's necessarily, good as well as Bibby, but I think both those guys come in at 40-45% owned around that line. And unfortunately they rank 1 and 2 for me, but I can't get behind 40%. So ranking those, 5 guys, if you will, I'm throwing out Glass now. I'm going to go Evaldi, Bibby, Cole, Flaherty, and I'm just going to flip it upside down and play tournaments upside down. I know we don't like to attack the Indians, Guardians, whatever, your personal preference is to call them. But, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And we know how DFS works. One bad start here, one bad start there, I can leverage against the field. So I'm just taking that list that we just said, and I'm flipping it upside down. And if I get stuck with, Cole and Flaherty, or have to mix in one of these cheaper guys we're going to talk about in a second, I'm okay fading, 40% ownership.
Yeah, I think if you play both Bibby and Evaldi, you're going to be really, really I think that's going to be the most popular pairing, I think, by far today. As you mentioned, I think both guys are going to be probably in the 40 percentile, I would assume. Looking at 2 other guys that are over 8K over on DK, you got Matt Waldron against Washington. And, I don't mind that. I think it's a kind of safer play. I just don't like generally attacking Washington for strikeouts. And the other one here is this Chase McDermott. Rookie. I think he's interesting at 8K against Miami, low power. We're in Miami. I like the park. But this kid's got a pretty high walk rate, man. I see how AAA had a 13% walk rate. It does scare me a little bit, but 30% K rate. The Ks are there. So, he's going to have some starts where I think he's going to mow some teams down. And then I think he's going to have some starts where he's going to have some issues, because that walk rate, that's generally something I like to attack. So I was just kind of torn. And he's a fly ball pitcher too, from what I'm seeing. So, but I'm not really concerned here about the power of Miami. But I think McDermott's another guy we could look at. I do like him a little bit more over on FanDuel than I do on DK. I think he's definitely an SP2, candidate that you could look at if you wanted to try to get a little bit different. But I think with those 2 guys, that'd be looking at. We can just roll right here into the bottom half of the pitching. You look at it. You had McDermott. You had Waka against Arizona. I'm not really a fan of that. Manania, I'm not really a fan against that. Robbie Ray, I can't do that against the Dodgers. Cabrera, not interested. Nelson, Flexen, no thanks. Really not anybody. I think Zach Eflin's interesting against Toronto. It's just tough with Eflin because Toronto's just another one of the teams, a low strikeout team. But I don't mind that matchup at all, 7,500 on DK. So I think that's about as low as I'd go. So for me, McDermott and Eflin and Waldron probably be about it. I think everybody else is too much of a reach. I think we got some good pitching today. I think we got 3 or 4 guys that could definitely put up a 50 spot on FanDuel, 25 plus spot on DK. So I'm not going to want to get go too far down in the barrel for double pitching. I think I'm going to have to pay up for at least one guy, and then you can reach a little bit. But what do you think these lower tier guys?
You said it best. Eflin for sure my favorite down in this range. I had no idea he's either leading or second in walk percentage in the league, right? That's a cool stat there. And then as far as this Chase McDermott guy goes, I just wish he was like 7K because, he has kind of checks all the boxes that we have. And, in Miami, it just kind of falls into that category. I did see, he's going to be maybe around that 10% own number on DraftKings. And I like that number. So when you kind of look at how chalky the top is, you want to get a little bit different in one of these spots. I think he's definitely on the list, but I will rank Eflin a little bit higher than him. Waka, he would be next on my list, but man, we're used to paying, high 6s, low 7s for him. And now what is he, 700? And, he kind of came around before the break, but just a touch too expensive for me. And the last thing that I'll mention, if you're trying to burn money, Cabrera, whatever his, 30 some odd percent, strikeout rate, but 13% walk rate. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. If you really love bats in a certain spot that we'll talk about, 6.2, if you're playing a bunch of lineups, he might be worthy of just a sprinkle. I know Baltimore is one of the best teams in baseball. Their offense is loaded, but he'll round out bottom of my list, kind of just for fun, one of those fun lineups where if you find yourself going, 5 innings, getting a couple Ks, at 6.2, he'll be -% owned. So just on my list for fun.
So breaking down with all the pitching, everything you got, all the guys combined, salary included, give me your top 3 guys.
I think I'm going to go Cole versus the Mets, just kind of get off some of that top ownership. Flaherty, Eflin. I'm going to try my best. Obviously, Eovaldi and Bibby are in great spots, but I'm going to try and get a little bit different. So Cole, Eflin, Flaherty. Final answer.
All right. I like that. I think I'm going to stay a little along the track. I like Eovaldi a little bit more, even though the dude hasn't had more than 7 Ks in his last 10 starts or something. It's not been the greatest, but I do like his matchup here today. I think he's got great win equity. I like him more on FanDuel than actually I do on DK, just because I want that quality start. I think I say he's probably 80% chance probably to get a QS over there on FanDuel. So I do like him a little bit more over there. So I'm going to put him 1. I do like the Flaherty. I think I like that call. I'm going to put him ahead of Bibby for me, not just because I'm a Tiger fan. I do like that matchup, though, with the both of them, Bibby and Flaherty. I think that's going to be a great matchup. I like both those guys battling it out with each other today. So I wouldn't mind that pairing either. I'm going to put Bibby 3rd in my group here. And then I'm going to go Eflin as well. And I do like McDermott. He's over on DK. But I do like him. Like you said, I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but I do think he's a pretty good pivot off some of these guys, just because of the high the K rate, as we were saying, down there in the minors. But the walk rate, fly ball rate does concern me a little bit with McDermott. But, just kind of looking here at the offenses, kind of just peeking around the corner a little bit, BJ. We don't have a Coors Field game on this slate, so, it's not like we have offenses that are being funneled today. So, not too expensive. So I do think we're going to have a slate of offenses that we're going to be pretty mixed up. So I think pitching will be more condensed than on the offensive side. So I think we just got to be a little bit different. We got to be too different at pitching. We just got to be maybe a little different. I don't think you got to fade necessarily the 2 chalkiest guys if you don't want to, but I do think the pivot is Flaherty. And I think with his strikeout ability, I don't mind that at all. So we'll see how it goes. But I do like the fact that those 2, Bibby and Flaherty, are matching it up, going to be going head-to-head. So I do like that. I see here in talking about Nelson a little bit, I don't mind it if you wanted to get a little bit different. But, man, just Kansas City, I just don't like the park. Nelson, I don't know. He's got too high of a fly ball percentage. I mean, Witt's been on fire. It does concern me a little bit. So I think that's what, it's just too much. The park yields a lot of runs. There's just too many flags for me there. And I do think pitching's a little stronger today. If it was a weaker pitching slate where I didn't think there was a handful of guys, I would be more apt and prone to maybe get a little riskier with pitching because, you don't feel like you're fading as much. But when there's so many dudes that I think that can put up a 20 spot, I think there's, you gotta have part of it. I think you can maybe fade one and take a risk if you really wanted to, but I think there's better options today than taking a chance on a guy like Nelson. But hey, that's what GPPs are all about, man. I mean, he's a cheap guy. I mean, if you wanted to use him and go with a cheaper, Valdi or somebody like that, you definitely could get pretty much the bat you want. But I think it's just a little riskier. It's like, they've got to kind of take it. For me, I look at slates, like what's happening here? How many guys can burn me in this spot? Or, just stuff like that. But what do you feel, BJ? What do you think about Nelson?
I agree with you. It is GPPs. You can kind of go the way you want. One of my favorite minis, though, on the slate is Bobby, Big Vinny, and Sal Perez. So we're going to get to that in a little bit, but that's probably one of my favorite little 3-man stacks that I'm going to run out. So he's just not on my list today.
Yeah, I see power too, about Flaherty's pitch count. What suck is if he got fucking traded right before or middle of his fucking start and they yanked his ass out or something. That shit happens too.
I'm happy this got brought up because I had written down to talk about it. This is kind of a tough showcase game, if you will, if you're going against Cleveland. They don't strike out. They single you to death. So I had that written down as a thought process, but I think they wait a start or two. I mean, how long do we have until the deadline? What's the exact date? I think he has another start or two in him before that.
I think it's the end of the month, isn't it? I think we got another week.
Okay, so we got another starter, maybe two if you count this one. So that's definitely a point of concern. That's a great thought, but I think this is a tough one to showcase on.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely in play here. I mean, especially if it gets closer to the trade deadline, some of these guys that you think may move. And then too, it's always fun during the trade deadline when guys start shuffling bullpens and then you can start thinking, oh man, this team just unloaded some bullpen help. They're going to be bringing up some guys that just might be wide-eyed from the minors. And, sometimes I like looking at that. Got to look for them little edges as we move forward. So yeah, Brandon F here next Tuesday, the 30th. I thought it was the end of the month.
Have one more then.
Here.
Yeah.
So appreciate that, Brendan, as for the info. But hey, let's check it out here. Let's just go game by game real quick. We got let's just check the day slate here. What do we got here? Man, Colorado 5-1, top of the third. That's interesting. But all right, let's just check it out here. We got, as we mentioned, 8 games, 6:40 start. Let's start out with this pitching matchup here. Probably an easy one for bats. Detroit and Cleveland. Flaherty and Bibby, as we mentioned. I like both sides of the pitching. This game here is a 7. The highest game we got on the slate is 9 in that Arizona and Kansas City game. All the rest of the games are either 8 or 8.5. So this one here, pretty much a full run lower than everybody else. I'm not really interested in attacking either side here. Like we mentioned, I like both pitchers. Can't really see any bats here that I like, that I even want to go. I mean, it wouldn't be bad for one-offs. If so, I think you got to probably look at some Tigers more so if you wanted to go that route. Just kind of looking. I mean, he's got a higher ground ball rate. He does have a 30% fly ball rate, that being Bibby. Man, I don't know. Keith's been hitting the ball a little bit. If you wanted to go that route, it's just hard. You're basically just kind of plucking out of a hat, I feel. But is there any guys here you might want to look at as some bats here, or?
No, the 2 guys I had written down, if you're going on the Cleveland side, they have good prices. Martinez batting second at 3,500, and Noel, batting fifth, 3,300. Both are playing, okay baseball. They're cheap. They're kind of nice little one-off spots if you're not going against them in pitching. So those are the only 2 batters I had written down as spots to kind of finish up a lineup.
I think Noel, I think they call him Mr. Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even want to try pronouncing his first name. Never have. I heard it a couple times, but no thanks. I would just call him Honk or something. You
know what? That's a dude I'll probably never have in my core just because I don't even want to try to spell his damn name. I'd have to go back. I'd probably have to take a picture of it and then look at it on my phone. Excuse me. There's some of them names, man. John Kinsey. John Kinsey.
Yeah. John Kinsey or something. Yeah, no thanks. Well.
Yeah, Mr. Christmas. I'll just call him Mr. Christmas. So, yeah, we're just going to pass on the bats for there, as we mentioned, total of 7. The next game, we got another one at 640, Baltimore at Miami. We got this game total sitting at 8. Like we mentioned, we got McDermott over here, and then we have Cabrera for Miami. I'll tell you what, I think this Baltimore offense is pretty interesting. Cabrera last time out didn't all look all that great. Got beat up a little bit. I think this Baltimore offense is real good. I mean, they're a team definitely can win the World Series. I don't know if, we're trying to rob them over here in Detroit and get us some Jackson Holiday and some Mayo. I don't know what else we're trying to get. But if they want Scooble, they better pay up. That is the way it's going to have to be. But, man, I think they're all in a good spot here against Cabrera. He's got a fly ball rate. I don't mind that. He is kind of more of a ground ball pitcher to both sides here. His last start, he did have his fly ball rate to lefties a little higher. So looking at guys like Gunnar, O'Hearn, Hurstead, Cowser, Mullins, Radley, I mean, they're going to be able to throw a bunch of lefties at him here, BJ. I really like this Baltimore offense. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm curious what your thoughts are about what their ownership as a whole is going to be. I don't know if they are going to be the top stack as far as ownership goes, but Ryan O'Hearn specifically is one of my favorite bats on the slate. I mean, he's 3,800 and just falls in, fits lineups really, really nice. Batting in the 4-hole if that lineup is finalized, which I think it is, and seeing the ball well. I mean, last 30 days, he had 264 ISO, 348 WOBA, striking out at just 12% and then, walking at almost 12%. So for his price, he's my favorite batter, but I can't really nitpick anything in this lineup. The only thing I have to nitpick is percentage of ownership. So hopefully they're not his own and people get a little too cute, because I'll definitely have some lineups, 1 through 9, whatever fits and whatever I like the best.
I think today will be spread out more on offenses. I think Baltimore is a little bit more of an expensive stack if you start adding some of the pieces, especially over there on DK more so. But I'm of the mindset to think that the highest stack today may be in the 20% range. And I'm not really in baseball, generally don't get too afraid of that, just because, you could have different pieces. But I don't think any stack's going to be overly owned today, like a Coors Field or like we've been seeing in the last few days. So I think, there's a handful of offenses that I think are all in the kind of the same bucket today. But I think Baltimore is definitely one of the top offenses. I'll put them up there in my top 3 or 4. But, I like them. I think they're a good play here today. But, yeah, I don't know if I'm really too concerned. Now, I could be wrong, but, just kind of I haven't fooled around too much with the Bills just to kind of see if it's forcing you to kind of land on some Orioles. Like yesterday, I kind of felt like I was being forced to land on the Yankees. Afterward, I talked to myself kind of through it, like just because you had a leadoff guy was 2,100, and then you had Davis, and then both them fuckers got pinch hit for, which I kind of figured could happen. But, and then I'm sitting there thinking I took Judge out because J.D. Davis sucks. So they were just going to walk him. After I thought about it, I was like, man, you got forced to play that stack because they had 2 cheap guys, especially on FanDuel. So, I haven't played with it, but I think that is definitely something that could be forced into play. But no interest for me on any Miami bats. I'm not going there. But I do think Baltimore for me is going to be a top stack. I mean, Gunnar Henderson is in a great spot. He'd probably be one of my top bats here on the slate here today. So, all right, let's move on to the next game here. We got a 6:45 game. We got San Diego at Washington. We're looking at a game total sitting at 8.5. We got Waldron against Mitchell Parker here. Washington is a favorite, -108. Pretty much a straight up game here from Vegas. I don't really like too much of either side of this one here. I'm just not really a fan of these offenses here today. The Padres just been struggling. Washington, I just not really interested in attacking Abrams here. But, if I did, Waldron, I guess I would attack him with Abrams, maybe Winker, maybe Wood on the left side of the plate if you wanted to do that. But I just think there's better spots. Just kind of hum game for me. But I see Eddie here likes the Padres. Says Padres season. It's there you go. I mean, you got it's just hard. The Padres as a team, just haven't been hitting at all. It's just hard to click on the Padres at this point. I mean, I look down here. Let's see, Padres middle of the pack, MLB last 30 days OPS. Padres just haven't seemed to get it going. They're kind of in a group with me, like the Indians and the Blue Jays, and the Reds are starting to get there. It just don't seem to have too much power. With the Reds, if the stolen base opportunity ain't there, I just kind of been liking everybody else playing them. I just haven't been going there. But what do you think of the offenses here in this one here, BJ?
I agree. My 2 one-offs are CJ and Manny. This just kind of feels like a spot where Manny finds the seats. I don't know. I watched a lot of Padres. You're right. They're kind of ugly recently, but Parker's given up 17 runs in the last 5 starts. I think 6 home runs. So you're right. It kind of falls into that weird spot where you want to play him, but then you start clicking some names and you're like, this just doesn't feel the best. That's where I'm going to kind of pick and choose, just kind of Manny, CJ, kind of depend on the area and what I need. But one-offs on each team, obviously, but I think I'm going to go Manny before CJ, as I just kind of have that, it doesn't matter much, but that gut feeling that, Manny finds the seats tonight. It's just one of those spots that just, all right, first and Washington. So top of the first inning, he just, hits a 2-run bomb, and then everybody else is kind of quiet after that. So that would be my little bet that I'll sprinkle a little something on for a home run prop.
Mr. Benny Levine. Yes, I do remember that the Padres couldn't hit for shit in the 84 World Series. BJ wasn't even born yet. So
I wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think I was 12 when that happened. But I do remember Sparky Anderson yelling out there to Gibby, "They don't want to walk. They don't want to walk you. They don't want to walk you." And Gibby's like, "Yeah," and lined that Goose Gossage pitch basically up there. That was a great moment, but Gibson had a better moment with the Dodgers. I can't say he didn't. I mean, one leg fucker goes up there and hits a one-handed homer. That was pretty damn cool, even though it wasn't for my team, but it was still pretty cool. So either way, we are going to move on to the next game. We got the Subway Series, Mets and Yankees, 7:05. We're sitting here looking at a 8.5 total here in this one. Actually got bet up from 8 to 8.5. We got the Yankees at a -168. Garrett Cole, he's been pitching a little bit better here against the Mets. We got Mañana, the lefty, here. But I'll tell you, let's see, get rid of that damn thing. I'm not that good as title at driving the ship here. I get it. And then sometimes I forget, especially when you have them damn safety meetings before here. You got too many things going. I got to talk, look at stats, drive the bus, all that kind of fun stuff, BJ. So, and I screw up sometimes. That's the way it goes here. But yeah, Warren Tyler Torres going deep again here today. So I do like the Yankee side more here against Mañana. Torres does hit quite a few fly balls, so I definitely like that a little bit more. You look at the ground ball percentage for Mañana. He's heavy lefty, 49%, 35%. He's got a 30% fly ball rate to righty. So you're looking at guys like Torres. He's going to be up there batting. They got him batting leadoff. Did I see that right?
Yeah, it's a really weird lineup. I think they got Austin Wells batting 4. That's what I'm trying to find now. Yeah, they got Wells batting in the cleanup spot. So, yeah. What is he? 3,400. Torres though leading off. So yeah, he definitely falls into in play for me.
Yeah, he's got the highest fly ball percentage, almost 43%. Of all of the Yankees. Judge is at 40%, in case you're wondering. So Torres, yeah, I do like this one here, especially the 5-ball platoon. I do like the righties here, as you mentioned. Torres up there in the 2-hole. Dude went from literally getting booed and screamed at and everything else. Now they got him hitting the 1 spot. I'll tell you, when managers move dudes up like that in the 1 and 2-hole, BJ, I pay attention to that kind of shit. I do like that call there with Torres going deep at him. Hey, buddy, I know you must be a Yankee fan. I get it. Baseball's up and down. I know you guys still hate him, but man, I mean, it lines up. I mean, he got moved up in the lineup. He's cheap. You know what? If you don't want to play him, just go on a prop site and probably bet on his ass to hit a homer today if you wanted to do that. But that would be an interesting one. But yeah, I do like these Yankees here today against Manana. What do you think? Anybody else here that stands out for you?
It's really just 1, 2, 3, and I know it's easy to say Soto and Judge, but Judge might be one of the best hitters on the slate, just given like what you say, 40% fly ball rate. You get Torres cheap leading off, but it definitely is a weird lineup that you don't feel the best stacking 4 or 5 mans with, if that makes sense. I like my little 1, 2, 3 stack there, especially when it's the second base you get to fill cheap with Torres. So I'm just going to keep it at minis. I'm not going to get a little bit crazier than that, and kind of hope that I pick the right bats.
Yeah, one thing that does scare me, Volpe. I mean, I'd kind of steer clear of him. He's got a low fly ball rate, like 22%. He's got a 50% ground ball rate. You got a ground ball pitcher. What are you going to expect here? You're probably going to get a bunch of ground balls from Volpe. So, you're looking at the bottom half of this lineup. It does not interest you at all. That's what's kind of hard. So, I do like a little mini stack maybe up at the top here. If you can jam in like a Torres and a Judge, don't mind that. It's just, we just saw what they did to Judge yesterday. Now they got Austin Wells hitting behind them. They're not going to be afraid of that either. We already saw him walking 4 times yesterday. We're going to get that again. So that is what kind of scares me a little bit. And Aaron Boone, yeah, I do agree, Eddie. He is clueless. What I don't understand is, why don't you have Judge hitting in front of Soto? I'm just not quite, I don't get that. Like, he's the fucking hottest hitter and he's your best hitter. Like, put Soto behind him and until Stanton or somebody else comes back. Like Wells and JD. This ain't getting it done. You're literally taking the bat out of your best hitter's hands. What are you doing? You could say reverse, but dude, you should have Judge hitting in the 2-hole. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. You're right, Eddie. If I was a Yankee fan, I'd be a little bit more upset than I am being a Tiger fan. But either way, Tigers suck. I already understand that. But next game here, 7:07, Tampa Bay at Toronto. We got Eflin going up here against Yariel Rodriguez here. Man, you kind of look at it here. You're looking at Rodriguez, and you're thinking, all right, he's got a fly ball percent to righties, 33%. Do you want to play like a Paredes or Rosarena, a Siri, somebody like that? It's just hard to click these dudes. It's just hard. It's just, for me, it's just tough. Rays for me, I don't have them up in the top half of my stacks. They're just hard to click, as we mentioned. And then Toronto against Zach Eflin. I'm more interested in Eflin. Toronto's just not a team. I've just been playing it all this year. I do like Eflin, even though I don't think Toronto really all strikes out all that much. I just really not too much of a fan of that, which is why I kind of had Eflin a little bit lower. But I'm not really a fan here of any of these bats. Maybe if you want to pluck some one-offs, you could do that. But I don't know. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm playing Eflin tonight, and the only kind of scary area that I have is Springer and Vladdy. Last 30 days they've been mashing the ball, and that's the only really 2 bats I could see. As far as the other side goes for Tampa, Rosarena's just been hitting the ball well. What is he, 4,200? That's going to be a tough one for me not to click if I'm around that range. Just somebody that's hitting the ball better and getting back to, who he used to be. So really that's it for me. And then we got a couple of stats the next couple of games coming up, but I'm in full agreement with essentially everything that you said there.
Yeah. Rosarena coming out of the All-Star break, 6 for 18, 3 bombs. He's got, they're all solo shot, hitting 333. His OPS is 7th in baseball, 1373. So Bobby Witt, just in case you're wondering, 1.977 coming out of the All-Star break OPS. That's softball numbers. I don't even know if, I could hit the shit out of softball. Man, that's some softball numbers. Damn.
What did he hurt? What was that? Monday he had a 30 bomb, whatever it was. That one wasn't that fun.
Yeah, on FanDuel it was like a 50-some bomb. Dude, he is 13 for 19 coming out of the break, 684 average. Like I said, man, them are fucking softball numbers. That's incredible. So either way, we'll get to that game here in a minute. But first game before we get there, we got the White Sox 8.5, 805 going into Texas here. just kind of looking, we got Chris Flexen, who we do like to go after here. And then we got Nathan Eovaldi. Not going to be liking any of these White Sox bats. If you wanted some leverage, I mean, I guess you could look at somebody like Robert if you wanted to go there. I mean, Eovaldi's ground ball pitcher, low fly ball pitcher. I mean, you look at the fly ball rates, highest fly ball hitter over there on White Sox would be DeJong, 33%. Not really interested there. Robert, 26%. Vaughn, 29%. I'm not really looking at any one-offs. I mean, you would get some leverage if you wanted to go that route. But I'll tell you what, Texas, just looking here at Flexen, he has a low fly ball rate. I mean, this guy here, I think we should be attacking here. I do like the Rangers here in this spot here against Flexen. That Ranger bullpen is shit too, by the way. So both bullpens in this game are shit. So I think but this is a game here you could definitely look at attacking. I do like the Ranger side. I do like Corey Seager. I think he's interesting bat here today. But yeah, give me some of these Rangers. What do you think here, BJ?
Yeah, my favorite stack. I agree. I just don't see how we don't score runs on Flexen. You got the Seager. He in the 2-hole have been hot. I like Josh Smith, Semien, of course. Garcia's coming back around. So I'm going to load them up each and every way that I can. And that, we kind of get what we want when we get to face Flexen. But my number one overall stack today, nobody you can name in this lineup that I would argue with not playing.
Yeah, I was just wanting to look here. Flexen, yeah, I figured. Last game, he gave up 7 earned runs to the Royals. He walked 5 guys. When that guy starts walking dudes, it's over, man. Like, he walks guys because he's already been getting hit. So, I mean, low strikeout pitcher. You look at this guy's game log. He's been getting beat up. It's like almost kind of too easy. I like the park. I mean, I like everything about it here. So, yeah, Texas for me is in that camp with like Baltimore, one of my favorite stacks. Like I said, I had 3 or 4 teams. They're one of them. They are definitely one of my favorite stacks here today. So we're going to get to a couple others here coming up in the next 2 games we got here. And as we mentioned, we have Arizona at KC. This one's highest total in the slate. We're sitting at a 9. So we got a couple guys here. Ryan Nelson here against the Royals. And then we got Michael Wacha against Arizona. So, I mean, we didn't really like any of the pitching. We're sitting at a 9. I think the Royals are one of the top stacks here on the slate. They're in my bucket here. I'm going to put in with the Rangers and the Orioles. As we mentioned, Bobby Witt, absolutely hot as can be. Eddie said here, was a single away from the cycle, and they nailed his ass. I still think they're pissed about that too. Like, I was actually concerned yesterday with some of the Royals thinking, man, if they plunk Witt or somebody again, one of these starting pitchers could be out. I mean, that could definitely be in play here today too, because I'm sure if it starts getting nasty, they're going to warn each side really, really quick. I mean, yeah, them being in Witt, I mean, that was a total dick move. I don't know why they even that was garbage, but man, I'm all over these Royals here. I think these Royals are definitely a good spot. As we mentioned earlier with Nelson here, being a guy that we like to look at his ground ball percentage. He's got a 40% ground ball percentage to lefties, 38% fly ball rate, 29%, 26% to righties. He's given up a lot of fly balls. Just looking here over at Kansas City fly ball rates, you got basically the top 6 hitters are right around 30% or higher. Perez is 35%. So we got some fly ball hitters against a fly ball pitcher. What does that equal? We definitely like Kansas City as a top park here for runs. Man, I think the Royals here are in a great spot. Give me some Royals. They don't have the power that I'd like. Not one of the most powerful teams, but I think this is a good enough matchup here that we can jam in some Bobby Witt, some Perez, maybe throw in some Renfroe, Pasquino, maybe get us some Vinny. I think it's a pretty good spot.
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, that's probably my favorite 3-man stack on the slate. Witt, Big Vinny, Sal Perez, And then just looking at Renfroe's price at 3,600, I don't know if that lineup's out yet. I don't believe so, but I mean, that's a nice little 4-man stack there that I'm okay rolling out. And, you know, what will be popular, but I mean, like you said, what'd you say? 13 for 16 since the break. So let's go attack Nelson and let's, you know, hopefully not be as popular as we think.
Yeah, he's 13 for 19 with 1 walk, which I think was that hit by pitch. So when he got hit, but man, the dude Renfroe's not in it. Lineup just came out. All right. So, but man, Bobby Witt, it all starts with him. You know, I think he's just been absolutely smashing, as we mentioned. But yeah, I think this one here, Royals for me, going to be one of my they're my top 4. So as I mentioned, I got, and really, I don't think there's much difference in any between the Rangers, Orioles, Kansas City, and then this next game we got here, San Francisco at the Dodgers. We got Robbie Ray coming back. Man, Robbie Ray time. Well, I mean, this guy here was a guy you could ride when he was striking dudes out. He was on Toronto. He was fabulous. But then, you know, the other times he's been on Arizona, he was a fucking home run machine. You know, like he'd still get some strikeouts, but fly ball pitcher. I mean, we're sitting here looking at some Dodgers here. I'm sitting there thinking, shit, you know, I can sit and look at, you know, guys with fly ball percentage, like Will Smith, 43%. I think he's one of my favorite plays here today. So you got, you know, the righty side, Teoscar. I mean, Chris Taylor, Kike, do you love me? He's on there as well. But, man, I think Dodgers for me are going to be in that group of 4. I'm not really interested here in any of these Giants. But, man, give me some of these Dodgers here. It's been a while since I've been wanting to play some Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers for today are going to be in that top group.
Yeah, and I especially like, I know you can't really, you know, compare it statistically, but they've had a couple of slower nights since coming back. I think what they scored the other night, 2 runs, and they had 4 last night. And I know I was sweating some Ohtani last night just to make the money cut, but I'm with you. You know, let's attack him first start back. And I don't see him going deep into this game at all. Ray, that is. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are interesting. I mean, Robbie Ray coming back. I don't even know how long he's going to go out. I mean, I didn't really dive into too far into Robbie Ray to look at past starts or anything, but I really wasn't interested in playing him. But Robbie Ray's a guy. I mean, hey, if he starts coming out and starts, you know, mowing dudes down, and he's definitely capable. But I mean, guy's getting older. He's been beat up in the past. I think this is a spot here. First game out. I think you might see some people because of the hesitation. The Dodgers may not be as popular as the other 3 that I mentioned in that group. So, you know, just kind of mentioning, if I want to rank those 4 that I had, I'm going to go Orioles 1. Then I'm going to say, I don't know if I think I'm going to go Orioles 1, Rangers 2, Royals 3. And then I'll go to the Dodgers. But I think the Dodgers get the lower ownership. So, I think Orioles for me, Rangers 2, then I'll go Royals, and then I'll go Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm the same, just a little flipped around. Rangers, Orioles, Royals, and then by just a slim margin between a few of these other random 3-man stacks, I'm going to go Dodgers.
All right, so let's just try to pick out real quick, BJ. Let's call it a low-owned stack, like a stack that you play off the radar of those 4 low-owned stack that you like that you think could get us to the top.
That's real tough because, like you said, I think there's going to be, you know, some spread out ownership once we get past some of these teams. Said it earlier, I'm going to dive into it more, but as of right now, I don't mind a little 3-4-man Tiger stack. Maybe if we got there's a high ownership in that game, like you guys like Keith and Matt have been hitting the ball. So I'm going to dive into Tigers, but as of right now, I think I might try and sneak in a couple of Tiger stacks, see if we can get lucky.
Don't mind that one. I was thinking about maybe the D-backs over there in that Kansas City game with Waka. Like I mentioned, just kind of looking at Waka, I think, he's a guy that definitely could get beat up a little bit. His ground ball rate, he's got a higher fly ball rate. So, looking at guys that we could, what side of the plate here, he's a little bit lower strikeout, 21% to righties, 23% to lefties. So, I mean, he's around 20% to both sides of the plate. But guys like Christian Walker, Suarez, Marte, Carroll, I think it's an interesting stack. So I think that would be my low-owned stack that I like. So William there checked it out for us. 76 pitches his last rehab start. So, hey, that's even better. So, if that tells me Robbie Ray might be even there even longer. So then they won't be able to play some matchups. So I think, too, but let's not forget about the pinch hit risk too here coming up, with guys, at the bottom part of that lineup, Kiki and Taylor, those guys are definitely in play for pinch hit risk for sure. So, the top guys in that lineup, probably won't obviously get pinch hit for. Will Smith, though, for me is a guy that I like here today. So, man, I think that is pretty much it, BJ. We ran through the whole slate here. We got 8 games here to look at. Like we mentioned, not too much weather that we got to pay attention to that I see. But, hey, I think it's a pretty decent slate here. What do you think here before we go? You got any last words, last pieces of advice, anything here you like? But, hey, I'm going to call Gleyber Torres at a home run here today too. So I'm going to, go back as we talked about. Torres with the high fly ball rate, hitting up in the one hole. So I'm going to call Torres at home run. If you want to throw a home run guy out there, go ahead, BJ. But what do you think?
Oh, you already know. I got the jersey up, the gut feeling for sure. I'm not stacking the pies, but Manny's going to find the seats, top one, first at bat, 2-run home run. Who's going to be on? Bogarts will be on, but a 2-run shot first, top of the first.
I like it. I might have to bet. You know what? I'm going to go a Manny and Torres home run parlay. I don't know what it pays out. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to look at that one.
I'll take a peek. I'll run it for you. Let's do it.
I'll be throwing that shit in Discord, laughing about it. So we'll celebrate a little bit, get some more fun coupons over there in the account. But BJ, always fun breaking it down with you here on a Wednesday. Definitely look forward to getting back at it here with you next Wednesday. Apologize, everybody. I was out yesterday, fucking traveling home, flights and shit. Just everything gets messed up. Traveling sucks balls, especially in this day and age. But man, hated that shit. But back at it. Get to watch some baseball here tonight. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Be back up here with the slate plan here shortly over there at the SHIPIT Nation. Make sure you guys check it out. And let's not forget real quick about our favorite friends over there at Drafters. Make sure you guys get over there, check them out. Get you 100% deposit bonus if you don't have an account. And then make sure you guys go check it out. NFL 50, get you an early bird bonus as we discussed here earlier in the show. Make sure you guys get over there and check it out. But hey, for BJ, I'm Gyiraszin. Appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll catch you here tomorrow.